Going over a little bit of drama today in the Linux development community from Linus Torvalds on Bcache FS, a file system that's trying to get into the mainline kernel. They got some strong words from Linus himself, directed towards Kent Overstreet, the main developer for Bcache FS, and it all started with a submission of Bcache into the mainline 6.6 Linux kernel. So Linus writes, I'm starting to look at this because I have most other pull requests done, and while I realize there's no universal support for it, I suspect any further changes are better done in tree than out of tree. The out of tree thing has been done. However, while I'll continue to look at this form, I just realize it's completely unacceptable for one very obvious reason. No way am I pulling this without a signed tag and a PGP key with a chain of trust. You've been around for long enough that having such a key wouldn't be a problem for you, so make it happen. Quite some strong words from Linus, and they only get stronger as we go through. What seemingly feels like Linus doesn't think the dev is following clear-cut rules, but I'll let you decide that. There are a few other issues that I have with this, and Christoph did mention a big one. It has not been in Linux Next. I don't know why I thought it had been. It's just an obvious thing for any new, I want this merged upstream tree. So these kinds of I'll just ignore all basic rules kinds of issues do annoy me. A little bit of a dig here as Linus is being a little snarky with the all comment that maybe is relating to a kernel config flag that allows you to build all modules and configurations for the Linux kernel. I need to know that you understand that if you actually want this upstream, you will need to work with upstream. That very much means not continuing this I'll just do it my way. Clearly there's been some issues in the past here with Linus and Kent. You need to show that you can work with others, that you can work within the framework of upstream, and that every single thread you get into becomes an argument. This, by the way, is not negotiable. If you feel uncomfortable with that basic notion, you had better continue doing development outside the main kernel tree for another decade. The fact that I only now have noticed that you have never submitted this to Linux Next is obviously on me. My bad. Which I'm glad Linus is admitting there at the end, but at the same time, it worries me that it might be a sign of you just thinking that your way is special. All right, that is quite the post by Linus there. Definitely let me know what you think about it. Is it too critical? Is it on point? Why or why not in the comments? But let's see Ken's side of things. Honestly, though, this process is getting entirely Kafkaesque, which could just mean convoluted or just overly complicated. I've been spending the past month or two laying out the groundwork for putting together a team to work on this because God knows we need some fresh blood in the file system land, but that's on hold. Getting blindsided by another 3-month delay hurts, but that's not even the main thing. The biggest thing has just been the nonstop hostility and accusations, everything from fracturing the community to ignoring all the rules. And my favorite, is this the hill that Kent wants to die on? While I'm just trying to get work done, I don't generally think of myself as being particularly difficult to work with. I get along fine with most of the file system developers I interact with, regularly sharing ideas back and forth with the XFS people. But these review discussions have been entirely dominated by the most divisive people in our community. And I'm being told it's entirely on me to work with the guy who knows one constant in the past 15 years has been trying to block everything I submit. I'm just trying to get work done here. I'm not trying to ignore the rules. I'm trying to work with people who are willing to have reasonable discussions. And they go on to talk about why they actually joined Linux kernel development and why they've spent so much time on Bcache FS. But to me, it's interesting to see the back and forth between some of the higher members and maintainers and can pose the question, do we need a different way of interacting with each other in the community? What has your experience been in the Linux community? Let me know below, but I want to read what Kent posted here. When I was a teenager, I wanted nothing more than to be a Linux kernel programmer. I thought it was utterly amazing that a huge group of people from around the world were working together over the internet, and that anyone could take part if they had the chops. That was my escape from a crappy family situation and the a-holes in my life. But my life is different now. I have new, better people in my life, and I have to be thinking about them. And if merging Bcache FS means I have to spend a lot more time in interactions like this, then it's going to make me a crappy person to be around. And I don't want to do that to myself, and I definitely do not want to do that to the people I care about. I'm going offline a while and thinking about what I want to do next. some powerful drama here, but there is some good news out of all of this. It looks like Kent has actually submitted bcachefs under Linux Next as the next step in the process on getting to the mainline kernel 31 hours ago here. This is good news. I'm glad that they've had some time to think things over. The Linux Next tree, for those of you that don't know, is a holding area for patches that are aimed towards the next kernel merge window. With expectations of going into the mainline kernel, this is a good step in the right direction, although it seems like the back and forth has gone on this for a while now, as bcachefs has been trying to get into the mainline kernel for the last few revisions of the kernel. If you want some benchmarks on the bcache Linux file system, I'll post it in the comments section below so you can check it out yourself. From the Phoronix test suite, you'll definitely want to check this out if you're interested in how the performance of the file system stacks up against others. This was tested both on HDD, SSD. Admittedly, this is a little old as far as performance metrics go, but it's worth a look at anyway. I'm sure we'll get new performance results as the file system gets introduced into the mainline kernel. Give me your thoughts below in the comment section. Love to hear what you think about the Linux community. Have you run into issues like Kent? Do you think it's structured well? It's good to talk about these things every once in a while and reevaluate the systems that we have. Catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.